Today we are talking about one of the biggest surprises I've watched recently, The Villainess Is Adored by the neighbouring prince. Now when I started this anime, I thought this was just your typical romance villainous anime. Not that that's a bad thing. I personally really enjoy those types of animes. The rich fantasy setting, the romance, handsome princes, probably a lot of misunderstandings. That's what I was expecting. And yes, all of that is there, but I wasn't expecting how invested I became into the story. The progression system, and honestly, how stressed this anime would make me is insane. There was genuinely a point where I was so anxious that I had to search up the spoilers because I couldn't deal with the uncertainty anymore. If you're wondering whether this anime is worth watching or not, stay tuned for my full review. At its core, the story follows a girl who finds herself in a world that feels very similar to an otome game. She's trying to survive, avoid a bad ending, and essentially rewrite the fate that seems to have already been planned for her. What I enjoyed is that the anime doesn't just rely heavily on the romance. There's mystery, political tension, powers connected to nature, quests that feel almost game-like, like side quests essentially. And the constant feeling that every decision she makes could change the outcome of the story. It's just so intense. All those elements made this world feel more interactive than expected. I'll be honest, the villainous anime genre has become very overpopulated and a lot of these shows start to blend together. You get royalty, you get the reincarnation, the engagement drama, you get people trying to avoid their doom flags. It's fun for me, but at the same time it can be very repetitive. So going into this, I expected something enjoyable but very familiar. The thing that stood out most for this was the progression, the game-like structure. The best way I could describe it is like you're watching someone play through this fantasy RPG game. The main character isn't just waiting for the romance to happen. She's constantly learning things, unlocking new stages, unlocking new paths, discovering new information, and trying to navigate all these new scenarios. Every time I felt like the story was settling, something would happen, new mysteries would appear, new characters would become important, and somehow new challenges would emerge. It created this feeling that the story was always moving forward. The main character was probably one of my favourite parts of the series. She's genuinely easy to root for. She's sweet without being boring. And she has enough personality that you actually start to care about her. I also love that she has a sweet tooth because it really gives her these human moments that make her feel relatable. The relationship development throughout the series was also another big highlight. Some of my favourite interactions came from some of the characters who didn't initially get along. Watching those relationships slowly change over time felt rewarding because it wasn't something that was rushed either. And then we need to talk about the Forest King. Loki, the Forest King, is definitely in my list of top 3 favourite characters from this show. Every time he appeared, piqued my interest. The humour, the personality, the energy he brought to the scenes. He ended up being one of those characters I looked forward to seeing the most. Let's discuss episode 9. Because episode 9 nearly, I can't even speak properly, it nearly took me out, mate. This was the moment that made me realise how attached I became to the characters. I found myself genuinely worried about what was going to happen. And that's when I realised this show has completely won me over. If you're already a fan of fantasy romance anime, I think this is an easy recommendation. But interestingly, I don't think it's only for the romance fantasy fans. So even if romance isn't really your thing, I think there are enough other elements to keep you interested. It's emotional, it's interesting, it's stressful. The season is only 12 episodes long, which makes it pretty easy to watch. Yes, it does end off on a cliffhanger, but I still felt satisfied with the journey. For me, this gets a 9 out of 10. I would recommend you watch it. And if you have watched it, let me know whether episode 9 stressed you out as much as me. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.